Hitting up some chest stuff today. Gonna use some different bars. Gonna use a slingshot. Got my boy Mike in here today. Jacked and tan. But Mike is somebody I met at a local bar out here called Faces. I was there partying. I was in a pair of leather pants, and he just was overwhelmed with the color of the leather pants, and then we got in conversation. Now I saw Mike at Saying Strength. We just got talking. He's been a fan for a long time. He's also a retired police officer. I got him here for the day. We're going to work out together, and we're also going to podcast together. I'm really looking forward to it.
We got to drop that in the commercial.
Looks pretty good, doesn't it? It's our gold series. Celebration. Celebrating 10 years. 10 years of slingshot in it. Oh! Oh! Woo! If you don't mind, tell us what happened. He's got the Superman on, and he's wearing it for a reason. This guy's been shot before, so maybe you can give us a little rundown on what happened.
2007, May 4th, me and 3 other officers were doing a high-risk entry. We're going into the entryway, and I could tell the hairs on the back of my neck just started coming up, that spider sense. You get it coming up, tingling, walk in the door. We announced sheriff's office coming in. Walk in through the entryway. I couldn't see it. All I saw was the top of a head, and a little head popped up, and from me, pow, got me right in the chest. Immediately I knew I was hit.
From how far?
2 feet. 2 feet. So got hit, burning sensation, like someone took a hot poker and shoved in your chest, and I knew. I go, oh man, I got hit. This is really happening. So then I turn around and I return fire. My first round hit suspect in the hand. We were gun to gun at this point. My round hits him in the hand. He squeezes the trigger. Second round misses my head by millimeter. Hits the door frame and blows the door frame. My second round hits him. He falls back. Got out of the doorway. Went down, told my partners who were surrounding the place. Pulled my vest. I could see a hole right in my chest, right here, and it was bleeding. I saw the hole in my vest. Sometimes you see the bullet. When I didn't see that bullet, it was pucker factor 10. So it was like,
You're like, it's in me.
It's in me. The bullet's in me, and I don't know if I'm going to make it or not. At that point, so I freaking out. The ambulance is coming, so they loaded me up, and they're driving me. Code 3, we're going to the hospital, and the paramedic goes, "Do you want me to call your wife?" And I'm like, am I not going to make it? At this point, I was nervous. I'm like, am I not going to make it? This is going to be the last phone call I'm ever going to have with my wife and my 6 kids. And she goes, I don't know. And at that point, that was when my whole life kind of, you start reliving. I started reliving everything from, grade school all the way up, and, parents who were deceased. And I'm like, Mom and Dad, if you're up there, keep me alive for my family. And they rush me in. Doc comes in, and he's digging in my chest looking for the bullet. He can't find it in the vest, and he can't find it in my chest. He goes, we're going to run an x-ray. Real quick x-ray, see if it's there. Otherwise, we got to rush you into surgery. So he does the x-ray, comes back. He goes, hey, good news. He goes, bullet's not in there. He goes, we can sew you up. He goes, and you'll be out of here. So at that point, huge sign of relief. I go, I'll make that phone call now. So I was black and blue from my entire chest all the way down to my abs, and it was crazy how black and blue it was. And there was a hole in my chest there for a while, and he goes, it's going to grow back. He goes, you'll have scar tissue, it'll look cool.
Dude, you're a hero. That's an amazing story.
Man, thank you.
That's great.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Good story, but we got to get back to bench pressing.
Nice story, bro.
Thank you.
Up. Still moving pretty good.
2 1/4.
1 2, 3, up. Here we go, Mike. Good, strong. Yep, up and back, towards me. There you go, good. Woo! That got to be a little crazy.
Yeah.
All right, we got Big Mike in the house today, and he just worked up to hitting a 300-pound bench right here with the slingshot on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have him use a regular bar, and I just want to review some bench technique. I know that he already knows how to bench, but being this tall, it just makes it that much more complicated. When you're a taller lifter, when it comes to bench press or when it comes to a squat, sometimes you get an advantage on the deadlift because a big guy like him might have a really good grip and it might provide some actually extra leverage. But when it comes to the squat and the bench, it can sometimes be a real mess, because that might be a nightmare, because it's just it's more body to organize this versus trying to organize that, right? There's a lot more things that can happen. So if Mike, if you just put your hands in like a bench position, as he goes to come down, he just has a crazy range of motion. Like, look at that reach. He's got a long way to bench press, and then we have to be careful when he comes down that the elbows don't travel past the body. See how much the elbows are able to travel past the midline of the body? Like, that's kind of a lot. And so shoulders down a little bit more. That's where we want to be. Do you guys see the difference in that? Bring the shoulders back up, flex the traps. And you see where the shoulder is right here. Now if he pushes the shoulders down more, you see how that's switched that angle right there? That's what we want. So we're going to review that. I'm going to have him do that with a regular bar. Me and my boy Smokey are going to go over some benching with Mike. You can see how similar these two guys are physique-wise. With Mike,
That's me.
he was mentioning earlier, he did a lot of kind of guillotine bench pressing where the elbows were up high, trying to accentuate building up the chest and trying to get a good stretch, which it does do that. And you actually can get very strong that way. It's just, it ends up for most people being kind of dangerous. You can compromise the shoulder, and for like just lack of better terminology, you're just very exposed once you start to press out in here. And you'll see that's where most lifters miss weights. Remember the great Eric Spoda with how strong he was. If he was going to struggle or strain through a lift, it was never kind of through this bottom portion. He could do that all day. It was through here. Once his forearm and bicep were no longer in contact, and once his tricep and his lat was no longer in contact, is where it was really tough. That's what you'll see from most lifters. With Mike being 7 feet tall over here, it's going to be really difficult for him to keep his arms in the right spot. And so sometimes coaches will have people do, half reps or board presses, and those kinds of things can be effective. But for today, we're going to have Mike really trying to work on that proper bench form. And so not only will the elbow track inward, but you want it to be inward and down, but you don't want it to be inward and down so much that we're doing like an extension. So that's what we're going to work on. Smoke, if you don't mind, just kind of demonstrate how you set up on the bench.
Yeah. So there's a couple different ways. Being a shorter guy, one of my easier ways, or one of the ways I prefer, is to put my feet down first, and then I do a tuck.
You do that again.
So
and this
I
is
stick
all
my head out.
This is all to assist with decreasing the range of motion and increasing your stability. Decrease range of motion, increase stability.
So I'm planting my feet. I'm planting the pads of my feet down first, and my head is hanging off the bench, and then I'm lifting myself up off the bench, sliding towards the foot of the bench, and then I drop my shoulders back. And I'm not done yet, because right now I'm going to now drive my heels down.
The heels don't have to touch, but you want to drive them down because now his knee is a lot lower than his hip, which puts his belly and his chest up in the air.
And so right now I am driving my heels down towards the ground as if I'm trying to make them touch, although they will not touch.
And you're also doing a little bit of like a mini leg extension, right?
Yeah, my quads are on fire right now.
Yeah, he's driving this way as far as he can.
And I'm pulling my shoulders back and then down.
Go ahead and hold the bar again. So you can see how, like, you wouldn't be able to tickle Smokey right here, even though as much as you want to.
You could do it.
You can't get him. You can't get the armpits because he's got them. He's got the arms locked in a position that won't allow you to get to him. So let's have you try something similar. Now each way that each individual person lines up on the bar might be different. So you don't have to do exactly what he did, but you want to utilize some of the same principles. And the main principle is just to use the bar to pull yourself into position.
So now you're gonna lift yourself up, drive yourself that way, and now drive this way, which is just gonna raise your chest up.
Your feet need to be under your hamstrings a little bit more so than under your butt.
And you're driving
So
those
out
toes.
in front of you a little bit more.
Yeah,
So more this way?
There
Yeah,
you
yeah.
go.
Yeah, because of how long the legs are.
And then you're driving your heels down. There
Yep.
you go.
Yep, the key is try to keep that chest up.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, up. Bring it out.
Good. I'd wrap the thumbs on the bar.
There we go.
Good.
Good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, to kind of start, for how tall you are, you probably want to bring the weight out over you quite a bit. So that way you can touch to like a lower point,
lower part.
or you can bring it down as you're coming down. You can bring it down towards your feet, bring it down as you go down, and then as you come back up, you might need to reverse back towards him.
Where is the bar hitting on? Because I know for
It should be, yeah, for you it should be right here at the bottom of that S. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're doing a couple of the reps, you were folding, like Mark
Yeah.
had mentioned. So you were coming, your elbows were really tucked, and you were coming out, and then you were like folding it to touch higher, to kind of touch that spot that you probably like to touch.
Yes.
So you're bringing your arms
Just
in the
you
right
have a
spot, but then
one
you're
board?
doing the bar the other way.
So then,
So that's why I was saying, let's bring the bar. So before you even go, let's bring the bar out further away from where you want to go. So you're more, it's a little bit more up and down versus a huge curve.
so
Kill it.
So we're going to implement bringing a board into the equation here, and this is it's just going to be a little bit shorter range of motion, so it should be easier. We're going to have Mike kind of exaggerate how low he's going to bring the weight. Bring the weight out just a little bit further than what you're used to.
okay.
Just a tiny bit further, because if we have you try to bring it out too far right now, it's going to feel a little weird. So just a little bit further, and when I say bring it out, we're talking about this way.
Going forward, okay.
Yep.
And you were
Before you
mentioning
start.
that as far as width wise, grip is okay.
Yeah, the grip looks good. Middle finger or index finger on the ring is probably a good place to be.
There we go.
Good. We need to loop those. Thumbs. Yep. There we go. We're going to go without it. Pause it on the bottom.
Do another.
Oh,
Yep.
No
Pause
board.
it on the bottom.
All the way down, all the way down. There you go. Press.
Yes. Yeah. There you go.
Good.
Good. Yeah, you're getting it. You know, we do talk a lot about tucking the elbows in, but we want the elbows to come in. Kind of naturally. Thank you. Give them a little boost. We want the elbows to come in naturally. You don't want to like try to tuck them in so much that you end up kind of pinned down here like this. So just bring them in, close to your side. A good way to learn how to do that is just with some dumbbells. Take some dumbbells, go palms facing each other, and work on kind of pressing like this, which is a lot different than, maybe the old school incline press, trying to get the elbows way out to really stretch the pecs. With this, we're trying to get better form on a bench press. We're actually going to move into, we'll demonstrate those for you right now. So we're going to show you how to do the dumbbells that I was just talking about. Palms are going to face each other, and we're working on tucking the elbows in. And this is to help improve your bench form and bench technique. It also is going to help you to use your lats a lot better. So we're here. You can still get a stretch in your chest. You still want the weight to come down past the midline of your body. That's a big mistake that people make with dumbbells. They kind of shortchange them and they press them in here, which doesn't make them any different than a barbell. So you want to make sure that the weight comes down past the midline of your body. But we're keeping her in tight. We want to tuck the elbows in. The palms don't have to totally face each other, but just kind of rotating them at least like this would be a good idea. So a lot of times you see people doing dumbbells out here like this, which is okay and helps build up the chest and gets a good stretch. And it's kind of the bodybuilding way of doing things. It's not a bad way to bench. It's just different. But because we're trying to work on having this transfer well over into our regular bench, we're going to go in here. And when I say transfer into our regular bench, I'm talking about from a form perspective. Because this way, building up your chest and strengthening your chest and getting used to training wide can still carry over to your bench press well. But this is a form and technique reinforcement right here. So you can even like bring it down real low and you get a feel for that and start to feel where's that sweet spot for you. Elbows in, elbows in, elbows in. Keep them close to your body. And to press, we're not really just pressing with our chest, we're pressing with our whole body, but we're pressing with our lats a lot. You can feel them from the bottom as you contract them. And you kind of hold it up with your lats. Drop the weight on your lats. Press with your lats. Yeah. Whoa.
And there you go, Mark. You gotta remember too, like we're from Poughkeepsie, and there's something in the water there. Like there's so many jacked people from there. It's crazy. Everybody our friends in high school and your sons. Like, how the hell are you so big? Like, you know, like
New Jersey. I was born in New Jersy, so
you know what's up. There's some big
the
people
water.
over there, right? And then
Water's free water.
and then people would start listening. We'd have kids that were like skinny. They'd be 150 pounds by the they would get up to like how many seniors at that.
Whoa.
What's crazy, the reason I'm so against steroids, man,
I used to be able to do it for 50.
Oh, was that 30 reps?
It was 40, I think. I used to be able to. Yeah.
at some point, right?
Christ, I heard that.
Yeah, fuck your elbow. All right, here we are. We just got done with a great workout. We're gonna go jump into the podcast. You guys saw, some of what we did for the workout for today, and then we also went over form and technique, because without that, you're not gonna be able to lift heavy, and without following some laws of having good form and technique, you're going to run into a brick wall at some point, and you're also potentially going to get hurt. We don't want anybody to get hurt. You want to try to stay safe for as long as you can, because this is a complicated game, and it takes a really, really long time. Whether you're trying to get strong or whether you're trying to be in shape, it feels like a full-time job a lot of times, and the worst thing you could do is get hurt. It can be a huge setback. Strength is never a weakness. Weakness is never a strength. Catch y'all later.